What I have today is advice for Americans. So I'm clearly not American. My name is Santiago Delgado, or as said in English, Santiago Delgado. But basically, I have one piece of advice for you. And that's that you should learn a second language. Not today, not tomorrow, but yesterday. And so to start off my argument, I'm going to try to explain why I think that Americans don't speak a second language today and why many other foreigners do. And the first reason is I think your high school professors shortchanged you on your second language skills. So every time I ask one of my American friends, the first time I meet them, do you know Spanish? They tell me this. And so after many years, when I hear this, I no longer actually hear this. What I actually hear is something very different, which isn't as exciting. And this is the fact that unfortunately you don't remember a lot of the Spanish or whatever other language you learned. And I think that's a function of the vocabulary you learned in your Spanish class. So I went and asked a number of my American friends, what are the Spanish words that they know? So this is a top 10 list of all the words that hopefully all the Americans know here. Some are really useful, and fuego, as much fun as it is to say, is not that useful in conversation. So these words lead to sentences such as the following two, which again are a lot of fun, but not useful. I don't think libraries come in red, and if your bathroom is on fire, you should probably figure out how to fix that instead of how to say it in Spanish. But my personal useless sentence that I've heard is this one. I don't know what to do with this. So anyway, but actually one of the big key reasons why Americans don't know a second language and it's not taught very well in high school is historical. And I'm going to put a picture up here. It's honestly going to be a little bit shocking. This is an actual picture. This is not photoshopped. This is how the Pledge of Allegiance was done before World War II. And so after somebody crazy in Germany kind of took over this, they stopped doing it this way. But one of the big reasons why a second language isn't taught is because during World War II, there was a huge fear that Germans would teach German to kids and indoctrinate them as Nazis. So that policy actually is still alive today and dictates why a second language isn't taught. So that's an unfortunate byproduct, but that doesn't mean you have to be affected by it. So why do I think you should learn a second language? First of all, it's becoming the world standard. So if you're going to do international business, pretty much everybody has it. So these are two graphs showing the percentage of people in the UAE, in the United Union and the US that know 1, 2, and 3 languages. So as you can see, in Europe, we have about twice as many people with 2 languages and about 5 times as many people with 3 languages. And so that's one reason. The second is that there's a huge ticking clock on when you're actually going to get away with learning a second language. This is a graph that shows the probability of learning a second language as a function of your age. So as you can see, it's off the charts by the time you're 15, and then it just drops off. So you can't do anything about that. That's a sunk cost. But 25 to 30, this is pretty much the last chance that you have to be fluent in a second language. So you have to take advantage of it. And finally, I think that the third big reason is that if you want to do business in the States, increasingly minorities want to be marketed either in their native language or in their parents' native language. And these are some examples in Spanish because it's easy for me to find them. But it applies to a number of different nationalities. And it's not just beers and burgers anymore. I mean, it's commercial banking, and NASCAR is investing millions of dollars in getting the Latin American dollar. This is Juan Pablo Montoya, a Colombian driver that they actually hired out of F1 racing in hopes of getting more Latin Americans. So if you're interested, how do you learn a second language? One is try to date a foreigner. So this actually might not apply to many of you here. And if you think it doesn't, let me ask you a question. How happy are you really in that relationship? Is this a time to reevaluate? It might. What about dating a foreigner? I mean, I'm taken. But there are a number out there. You just try, see how it feels. So if this is too much of a commitment, there's many other ways. I actually have 5. So the next one is just to take a class. We have actually Doug Nagy here, who on top of classes here takes a Spanish class off campus. If you're not as dedicated as Doug, you can take a pseudo class, which is what I call Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone classes are actually really good. The Spanish ones I've seen are good. There's one South American, one Mexican Spanish. The other one is hang out with foreigners. When we hang out amongst ourselves, we end up talking our native language, and we'll gladly talk it with you. And usually we're drinking when we do that, so it means that your language becomes easier to understand. And finally, study abroad. So you'll probably have a few months before you have to jump into the real world. Just move to another country and see if you can pick it up, or otherwise try IBEF. And so that's my argument on why you should learn a second language as quickly as possible. Thank you.